So I failed my goal for 2025. I did not reach 100,000 subscribers. I reached just short of 27,000 subscribers. Yeah, I completely failed. This is going to be one of those, like, it's the friends we made along the way videos for sure. I'm on the way to the gym right now, and I'm in a very reflective mood. I haven't really recorded one of these videos in a while, but just kind of like, I used to go for a lot of walks and kind of just walk into the gym. I usually don't walk to the gym, but it just got me in the mood of like reflection, thinking about kind of where I was this time last year and just the journey that I'm on, I guess. Dude, it's weird, like this time last year, or I guess like just over this time last year, I recorded the video at the beginning of the year, basically just like setting what I wanted my goals to be, and kind of like explaining where my current mental state was at the time. And it's funny because looking back, like, I don't know, that version of me is very different than the version that I've become over the last year, and that's something that really, really fires me up. Last year, I cared so much about what people thought about me. I was always in my head, and I think a lot of that was I wasn't as secure as I wanted to be. I based my sense of self-worth in things that I couldn't control or that weren't stable. You know, I based my self-worth in what my body looked like in the gym, kind of like my work ethic, my social status, and those are all things that can be taken away from you at any moment. You can't control any of that. And over the last year, it's been this real slow but also super rewarding progression, meeting people that have absolutely changed my life, growing in terms of like my faith and spirituality, and continuing to like question that and question, you know, what is like the universe, who is up there, like, I don't know. And really just like, I think becoming the version of myself that I've always kind of like wanted to become, if that makes sense. And like, I'll be honest, like even recording this right now, I'm like walking down this busy street, and it's like, do I look a little bit silly recording with my iPhone? Like, definitely. But at the end of the day, like ultimately, like I'm gonna die, and so is everybody else, like really, really soon. So I guess a large kind of reason I'm kind of happy with not reaching the goal of 100,000 subscribers is because along the way I found something better than I could ever imagine. And yeah, it's interesting. Like, I had this dream, this was like a month ago, where I was walking down the street of New York City, and it was weird because like I've been to New York a few times, and I was walking down the street and I passed by this lemonade stand, and it's this guy selling lemonade, and I go up to him, and I didn't have the money. I was like, hey, like, you know, what are the chances I could get some lemonade? And he was like, no, dude, like, I'm sorry, it's for sale. You know, you can't just have the lemonade for free. I was like, okay. So what I did is I started like basically trying to sell people on the street on the lemonade. So like there's people walking down the street, and there's these people walking by. I'm saying like, hey, like there's this local vendor, you should buy some lemonade. Come check this guy out. And nobody was buying the lemonade. I was like, okay. But the more I kind of started selling people, it's like, this family walks by, and I was like, hey guys, like, you're in New York City, there's a local vendor of lemonade, like, why don't you just like have a family experience? And so they buy some. And then I start selling people, like this jogger, she kind of like runs around the corner, and I'm like, hey, like, you're probably low on electrolytes, you probably like need some refueling, like, why don't you buy some lemonade? And I keep selling these people, and eventually I'm like satisfied. Like I'm in the flow state. I'm doing like what I love, and I'm selling people lemonade. And then eventually I just I'm like, I'm good. And then I start walking down the street, and then the vendor comes and runs after me, and he's like, hey, like here's a glass of lemonade. I'm like, dude, like I don't have any money. Like, what do you mean? He's like, no, dude, like it's okay. Like, just take it for free. And I don't know, I shared that story with a few of my friends, at church, a few of my other friends, and I think I actually recorded a video on it. Like as soon as I had the dream, I woke up and I recorded a video. And dude, just like very interesting. The idea of like seeking something that you wanted, letting go, trusting, like kind of like woo-woo, like trusting the universe, trusting flow. Bro, I'm like off my rocker. But just the idea of like letting go of what you think you want and like what you think you need. Dude, and it's funny because I feel like it was like at the end of the dream, I ended up getting the lemonade anyways. So, yeah, maybe this is cope. Maybe, I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know. It's not up to me. Honestly, I kind of stopped thinking about the goal in the summer, anyways. When I made that video too, it's funny because like I was in this place where I'd basically just dropped out of university. This was like a year ago, and I had like basically no friends. Like I would have one friend where he would pick me up and we would drive around occasionally. I had another friend, we would hit workouts like once a month, and that was it. And for the majority of the time there, like I was in a basement room, pretty much walked down in that basement, grinding, editing, whatever, but I was in a horrible mental spot. I struggled with addiction like crazy. I struggled with pornography. I struggled with social media addiction, like just scrolling until like early in the morning. And you can literally go watch these videos on the channel, like right now. And I'm not gonna say like I'm free of those things, but I kind of stopped hard knuckling my way through that stuff, and it kind of feels like as soon as you let go, it just falls into place. And that's not to say like you don't do the stuff. Like I have like blockers on my laptop, my phone. I take it pretty seriously, actually. It's not to say you're not supposed to do the stuff that you know is going to help you. But I mean, well, I always check to make sure it's still recording. Sometimes it stopped. But it's like you just kind of let go, you surrender. And I think it's just this feeling of like surrender and trusting the universe and kind of being like, you know what, like, you know, I've wanted 100 subscribers for so long. It's been like 4 years now, but I've needed it. And it's like, I don't need it, dude. I found a community of people who love me, and I love them. Like I literally say to my friends, like when I leave, I'm like, bro, like I love you, because I do. Like, and I know they love me. Like they're there for me, and I'm there for them. I've developed like this feeling of peace almost, and it's not to say I don't get anxiety anymore, because I definitely do. you know, there's days where it's like you get the crappy sleep, you have to, you know, the caffeine, cold shower, whatever, but it's like I'm just more at peace with accepting the fact that if YouTube doesn't work out, that's okay. I mean, it's what I want, and I think it's what I'm being called to do. But this is just the journey that I am on, and I have to just trust the universe's timing. And I know that sounds really woo-woo, but I also feel like I'm closer than I've ever been before in my life. And obviously every video I say that. But it's getting weird at this point. I'm meeting people I never thought I'd meet. I'm equals with people I never thought I would be equals with, which is hilarious because through this journey, it's like I don't really get as nervous as I used to, like talking to other people. My videos where I asked girls on dates, like, they were great for kind of like training, but they weren't, they were the band-aid. They weren't fixing the underlying issue, right? It was like taking the Tylenol without curing the sickness, I guess. And the sickness was, I think, insecurity, lack of self-esteem. The sickness was instability, like not trusting the universe, like not, you know, having like that scarcity mindset, I guess. And again, all the stuff I'm saying sounds so woo-woo, but mark my words, like it has changed my life. And I talked to my friend about this, and it's like the books that are the most like woo-woo, where you're like reading it and you're like, what is this guy like quacking on about? It's like those are the ones that make the biggest difference. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to kind of reflect a little bit here. I'm gonna try to cross the street without dying. Yeah, I just want to reflect a little bit, and yeah, I'm really grateful for this year. It's been probably one of the best, definitely one of the most fulfilling years of my life. And that's what I've always prayed for, is fulfillment, not happiness. It's like peace, joy, not pleasure. So yeah, I always say this, but there are really good things to come. I'm working on some videos I'm really excited about. I'm talking to some people, and I just really appreciate you guys for being on the journey. Whoever's watching this, I really value you. So thank you. Love you guys.